少女前線
Welcome. In this video, Chapter 12 of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. On the outskirts of Tallinn, the commander and Kalina monitor the military's movements, noting unusual reinforcements and pondering what might be hidden at the submarine base. Their train remains in emergency repair, leaving them vulnerable with the enemy's EM cannon range. Meanwhile, M4 and Ogas converse atop the train, revealing Ogas's transformation into a collective consciousness merge with Isomer's memories. Their discussion is interrupted when Sop, recognizing Ogas as an adversary, launches an attack but is swiftly incapacitated. Squad 404 arrives to secure Ogas and transport her to the commander, where tensions remain high. As the team deliberates, Ogas explains that Sop's rigid firewall defenses caused her to crash, requiring internal restoration. The commander, weary but willing to cooperate, agrees to hear Ogas out once Sop is revived. Sop's self-defense system is reset, but she struggles violently before M4, AR-15, and RO manage to restrain her. After calming down, she's confused about her surroundings and the presence of a supposed Nemogen, but the commander reassures her. As Sop recovers, Ogas begins explaining its origins, emerging from Lunasia's neural cloud and evolving independently. Reveals that all Ogas entities seek their place of origin, but over time, it has changed its perspective, seeing itself as unique due to its bond with Lunasia. Ogas also uncovers disturbing truths about the submarine base, where Nidos, human-cybernetic hybrids, are being created as vessels for Ogas consciousnesses, with failed subjects discarded or weaponized. Realizing their objectives align, Ogas offers to assist in the mission and requests a name, prompting M4 to call it Dandelion. As a show of trust, Dandelion offers to compile critical intelligence, but requires a storage medium. Ultimately, Sop's dinnergate, Banana, is chosen despite her protests. RO urges haste, prioritizing the mission over Sop's reluctance. As the transfer begins, Banana begins kicking violently, overwhelmed by the massive file size. Dandy explains that its limited processing power is causing it to overheat, potentially leading to burnout. As Sop panics over the fate of Banana, RO insists on handling the decoding process to relieve the strain. Meanwhile, Dandy proposes transferring Lunasia's memory fragments to the dinnergate to free up computational space, revealing that Lunasia has carried immense burdens from her past decisions. M4, after initial hesitation, agrees, wanting the commander to understand her better and avoid repeating past mistakes. Within cyberspace, RO locates the fragmented memories, revealing past struggles and difficult choices. Among them is M4's desperate pursuit of the mastermind, Elisa, culminating in catastrophic failure. She recalls the moment M16 rescued Elisa, betraying Griffin and leaving M4 alone on a doomed train. Facing imminent death, Star arrives just in time, urging M4 to jump, saving her from the explosion. However, in the aftermath, M4 falls into despair, believing her actions led to G&K's downfall. Overwhelmed, she contemplates ending everything by overloading a weapon, but a mysterious voice intervenes, forcing her to continue surviving despite her grief. As RO processes more memories, the commander learns that Dandy had secretly influenced M4's actions to ensure her survival, as her trauma had left her incapable of making rational decisions. This manipulation, though necessary, reveals the depths of M4's suffering and self-doubt. Dandy insists that M4's existence holds great importance, despite M4's reluctance to accept it. RO initiates another memory fragment upload while M4 and Star traverse the blizzard. Star leads them to an abandoned house, its porch littered with the remnants of a family's past. A teddy bear, well-worn and bloodstained, hints at a grim fate. M4 detects movement inside, only to find a military relay station manned only by infected, mentally deteriorating personnel. M4 coldly declares them enemies, insisting they must be eliminated. Star hesitates, sensing something off about M4. A tense exchange ensues, with M4 dismissing her doubts and urging her to complete the task. The firefight is swift, and after ensuring the fallen won't rise again, M4 hacks into the military's comms, uncovering that G&K has escaped, while Angie remains at risk. They prepare for their next move, but before they can proceed, a feral growl interrupts them, an infected young girl lunging in mindless aggression. Star puts her down with a single shot. The grim reality settles in as they bury the girl, placing the teddy bear atop the makeshift grave. M4 questions the cruel balance of power in the world, while Star reaffirms their need for strength to survive. Yet she warns M4. She will cooperate for now, but if control isn't returned to M4 once they're safe, she won't hesitate to act. Meanwhile, the commander and Dandy reflect on the tragedy of war, the suffering of civilians caught in the crossfire, and the necessity of pushing forward to prevent further bloodshed. M4 and Star make their way through the desolate battlefield, relieved that the blizzard has passed. Though M4 insists that they were taking the safest route, Star couldn't shake the feeling they were moving in circles. As they reached their initial theater, they were met with an eerie silence. No enemies, no allies, only abandoned autonomous units and the lingering effects of the dirty bomb. With no signs of Angie or Defy signals, they deduce their allies have escaped. M4 hesitates but ultimately decides that it's safer to track Angie than to navigate the city blindly. Using residual signals and tracks, they follow her trail, though they were soon met with the sounds of encroaching elids. After eliminating the last elid in their path, they enter a half-collapsed building where traces of a scuffle suggested Angie had been there. Among bullet holes and bloodstains, they find shell casings from both pistol and rifle, evidence that Angie hadn't been alone. Before they can analyze further, the sound of approaching footsteps sends them into hiding. A white armored unit entered, its presence unfamiliar and unnerving. M4's attempt to hack its system fails, revealing its advanced complexity. Opting for a more direct approach, Star incapacitates the unit, but the lack of blood raises disturbing questions about its nature. Determined to uncover the truth, M4 disguises herself within the enemy network, vanishing into the unknown as Star anxiously watches over Lunasia, hoping the risk isn't in vain. M4 finds herself in a void of endless darkness, questioning if she would ever resurface or if this emptiness was her true place of belonging. Just as she's setting into the absence of pain and choice, a presence emerges, a silent girl who feels both familiar and unknown, reminiscent of Elisa's forced hacking. Despite M4's attempts to communicate, the girl remains silent until she mysteriously fades away, leaving only the cryptic words of, "You are the only one who has not been abandoned," behind. Before M4 can process this, a clear voice echoes, revealing they've identified an enemy system filled with unknown white units running an OGAS-like protocol. As M4 struggles to understand, it becomes evident that these entities share traces of her own memories, pushing her deeper into the mystery of their connection. The voices urge M4 to risk everything, uploading her neural cloud to break through the enemy's defense, promising that she would regain her body once the task is done. In the battle against the system, M4 encounters a black-clad girl trapped in agony, crying out against being erased and replaced. As fragmented memories surface, it becomes clear she's just another being shaped by the same forces manipulating M4. The clear voice denies involvement, but its eerie similarity to past manipulations shatters M4's trust. A security lockdown forces a swift escape, and M4 severs connection to the consciousness, reclaiming control over her body just as she's reunited with Star. Back in the real world, M4 assesses the dire situation. G&K's forces have mostly evacuated, but the city was now surrounded by the military's forces. With few options left, she and Star debate their next move, either evade encirclement and rendezvous with Angie, or attempt to contact her via civilian signal tower deep within enemy territory. In the command center aboard the armored train, tension rises as Sop anxiously questions why the train has stopped. with RO explaining that the fragments are still being processed. Meanwhile, Dandy works to compile crucial intel, revealing that the submarine base, once thought to be under military control, may now be in the hands of SF. Outside, 45 directs the reserve team, including Star and 416, to guard the flanks and deal with any infiltrators while the train undergoes repairs. The commander, knowing that time is critical, orders preparations for a potential assault, while also ensuring their forces are ready for any sudden moves from the military or SF. As the team works to coordinate defenses, they also face the pressing need to gather more intel. Dandy finishes uploading the data to the train server, revealing the submarine base's layout and powerful defenses. The commander assesses the situation, realizing that the base's capture by SF complicates their mission, but they must move quickly to prevent further escalation. With the repair team still working, the commander orders a recalculated battle plan, preparing to charge once the train is operational. Outside of the armored train, Sop and the team fend off enemies, knowing that waves of attackers are closing in. Star receives a transmission from the commander informing them that the train will depart in 10 minutes to head for the submarine base. All regular echelons must fall back, leaving Star, Sop, and 416 to provide fire support and prevent the enemies from getting too close. Once everyone is aboard, the team quickly heads to the equipment room to replenish their ammo. After a brief respite, 45 leads a group to the command center, where the commander has called for a mission briefing in preparation for the upcoming operation. The commander and the team review key details about the upcoming operation, including the dangers of coastal defense artillery and underground levels B2 and B3, where Paradeus has likely converted areas into research facilities. Dandy warns that multiple Nidos could severely hinder the operation, especially in the lab, and that the relic artifacts stored on level B3 may no longer be sealed due to the SF presence. The commander learns that the base contains the Starfish facility, which is linked to the origin of the Pike node, a point of interest for SF. After gathering critical intel, the team prepares for the operation, while RO runs simulations to calculate various strategies. As the team awaits completion of their mission plans, Dandy suggests watching the final part of Lunasia's memories, which the commander agrees to despite ongoing simulations. Squad 404 soon returns, and they all gather to watch the adventure unfold. Meanwhile, on the ground, M4 and Star cautiously navigate enemy territory, staying hidden while discussing their limited options for escape. As they move through the rubble, a mysterious voice interrupts, revealing itself to be someone who has been aiding them but is now threatening to leave them to face the consequences of their failure. Realizing the danger, M4 pushes them to run, urging them to follow her quickly as enemies close in. M4 and Star find themselves pursued by enemies that seem to be deliberately blocking their path. As M4 realizes that a mysterious consciousness is controlling the enemies and attempting to capture them, she orders Star to follow her in a desperate attempt to evade the trap. The voice taunts M4, revealing that the white units are under its control and hinting at a deeper connection with her, claiming that it seeks the same answer she does. As they're cornered, M4 is forced to consider the voice's offer of freezing the enemies to reach the signal tower, which would allow them to escape. Despite her reluctance, M4 agrees and the white units stop moving, giving them a chance to flee. Later, they learn from Defy that although they are escaping, Angie is unconscious, and the commander has been captured, leaving the mission a partial failure. The voice continues to press M4, claiming their connection is inevitable and that the truth will eventually come to light, but M4 rejects its influence, determined to face her destiny on her own terms. Back on the train, Kalina and 45 discuss a corrupted file received from Angie, which 45 quickly repairs. The file, once restored, reveals that Task Force Defy is in control of the quarantine wall outside the Paldisky submarine base, but has lost contact with Angie and their other teammates. The news shifts the mission's priority, with the team planning a three-way attack to neutralize threats and locate Angie. Meanwhile, Dandy, who has been assisting them, reflects on her role and the unresolved mysteries surrounding her existence. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.